Rosemary Rodriguez's impact and legacy in the Latina business community, I think, is indescribable in some ways. I think of her as a steady force.
She is somebody who is as creative as she is intelligent.
She always centers her community, whether that's Denver's West Side, Latinas, voters, Latino voters, whoever it might be in the moment that she's advocating for.
I was born in Denver after World War II to a veteran and his wife, and was one of their 6 children. My mother was a very active precinct committee person. It was really interesting, but Hispanics were starting to run for office in big cities like Denver, and my mom was a volunteer for many of them. People found their political voice engaged either in protesting a war or supporting women's rights or civil rights. That's really where I wanted to be part of that.
Her mentorship for me has catalyzed a lot of really important decisions that I made, not the least of which is being the councilwoman for District 3, which she was as well before me. I was able to see somebody from my community be in that role and sit in that chair.
One of my mentors was Mayor Webb, and he called me in and he said, "Have you thought about running yourself?" And I said, no, that's not for me. I'm behind the scenes, I'm a planner. And I started to think about it and to try to put myself into those shoes. My opponent, I thought, he's been around forever. He's gonna be really hard to beat, basically. But my community ended up picking me. To respond to my fears and worries about the census, I and a colleague started an organization called Together We Count. It brought in voter registration, it brought in democracy work, talking to people who don't feel seen, and it's where I ended my professional career. I think it's the most important work I've done.
When I first came into my own professional life 20 years ago, she's just always been there, always been humble and a servant and a leader, and has just been a driving force to move Latinas in the business community forward.
Cafecito has been grown very organically. We gather weekly to talk about what's going on and what's important in our lives and what's important in our communities. And we have a real bias for education. A lot of women were isolated in their jobs, in their relationships, and in their communities. And this was a place where they felt accepted. The other day, somebody said that you didn't have to code switch when you were at the cafecito. You could just be yourself.
I had a really faraway dream to one day run for office. I had a sense that that was a dream that I could imagine, but I had no way to make it a reality. When I met Rosemary, she literally opened up the doors of her home when we had this wonderful brunch, and I left with incredible advice, concrete next steps, and even a box full of antique dinner plates. And she was like, "Hey, do you want these?" And I was 22 and living in Capitol Hill and had no money, and I was like, "Actually, yes, I need dishes."
When I think about my role in Women Who Show the Way, it's a big responsibility to honor not just the women before me, but the women after me. And that's almost more important, because the women before me, their story's been told. But the women after me, that's our future.
I just want to thank you, Rosemary, for just being an enduring spirit, just a grounding force and a powerful energy in our community.
I am just so grateful for the time and energy that you spent interested in my path and what I bring to the table. And I think you make that connection with dozens, if not hundreds of women many of whom are in this room.
You deserve all of the flowers, all of the appreciations for all of the work, all of the time that you have done both while in an elected office and even while you're supposed to be retired. So thank you so much for all of us, including myself, my family, and our whole community. Muchísimas gracias. And felicidades.